A woman and 3 children, ages 2 to 9, killed overnight in Oklahoma City. The suspect, the husband, who also killed himself. Police say the couple was married but separated. And this, sadly, is one of many stories that we've covered about domestic homicide. Oklahoma is one of the worst states when it comes to women who are killed by men. And today we're joined by people who can help and people who can give us some insight into why this is happening so frequently here in Oklahoma. We appreciate all of you being here. We have Deputy Chief Jason Clifton with Oklahoma City Police, Kim Garrett Funk with Palomar, Angela Beatty with the YWCA, and Representative Forrest Bennett. Again, thank you for taking the time to have this discussion with us today. I want to jump right in and start with the statistics. I was looking online and there's some conflicting information out there right now. Oklahoma, I do know, has seen an uptick in domestic homicide and violence. Kim, if we could start with you, what are the numbers when it comes to both?
Sure. So there is a significant number of domestic violence and homicides in our state. We currently rank number 2 in the United States for women killed by men in single homicide incidents. And it's interesting to note that the numbers have increased significantly since 2018, and they've continued to stay the highest I've seen them in 20 years. I think that's really important when we start looking at proactive and long-term change and how do we really solve domestic violence. And one of the things that we know that happened in 2018 was gun laws changed. And we know that 80% of domestic homicides are caused by firearms. So, and this is no exception to that example. And so I think it's time that we have really courageous conversations on what responsible and thoughtful reform looks like. We know domestic abusers are the most likely to kill police officers, not only hurt their families, but they're more likely to commit mass homicides. And so we have a great opportunity to change the trajectory for families.
And let me go straight to you, Representative Bennett. At what point does this become a priority for the legislature? Is it a priority at this point?
It ought to be, for sure. And more importantly than that, it's not about whether it's a priority, it's about who we're listening to when we craft legislation. And Palomar, nonprofits that focus on these issues are great resources, and they oftentimes provide us with a lot of information, but frankly, we don't oftentimes take their advice, and that's frustrating. And one case in point is the repeal of, or the legislation that we passed to bar the state of Oklahoma from having red flag laws, which is one tool in the toolbox to address domestic violence, because we know that everyone who commits, statistically, the vast majority of the people who commit gun violence have some type of record, whether that's official or family and friends know it, of violence prior. And who else but friends and family would be great at making sure that the people that they love are safe from themselves and safe around others?
I do want to make it clear you're a Democrat. We did ask a few Republicans to come on with us today. They were not able to, but I just wanted to make that clear and just make sure our viewers understand that. We're going to talk a little bit more coming up in just a moment. And just quickly, Deputy Chief Clifton, does Oklahoma City Police see this as a crisis at this point?
It's been a crisis for some time.
Yeah.
30% of our homicides this year alone are domestic related. Half of those are intimate partner relationships. Yeah. And we've seen that increase, and it's a constant conversation with me and the chief. It's a horrific crime, I'll be honest. It's one of the only ones that police don't have a visual on because it occurs inside the home. And let's be clear, this is one of the only crimes where the victim actually lives with the suspect. That's a hard one to engage in.
It's a difficult conversation, but it needs to be had, and we're going to have more of this coming up here a little bit later in the newscast. We're going to dive deeper into the topic, what's happening from a legislative standpoint. Also, how do you protect your family and who can help? And we do want to put this out here because if you need help right now, this is the number to call. You can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline. It is 1-800-522-SAFE, 1-800-522-SAFE.